Welcome back to the channel. You are rocking with Agent R, and in this video, I just wanted to give an update on what I've been up to. Because as I've been hinting at in the streams, definitely check out Twitch or Kick, whichever one, that I have been working on improving the build because I've been working from my Lenovo Legion 5 laptop that I got back in 2020 this entire time. And so it's now time to upgrade, and I assembled all of the parts. So here's the B-roll for that. And finally got to a point where I was ready to assemble, but there was a trick to all of this. Okay, now I know that it's in an NR200P chassis, and for those who aren't aware, that's a small form factor case, so there are more build constraints along with that. One of them is being a much smaller power supply. You have to get a small form factor power supply to make that work, typically. Now, with the NR200 or the NR200P, those variants, there are those who make modifications, right? You can get a modification for the top AIO, which they can't support. You can even get one for this case that was an ATX bracket for a standard PSU to put in the NR200. So what I decided to do is use one that I have and try to make that work. And let's just look at what takes place. And I can't tell you how frustrating it was to get that far after months of looking into it, only to discover that me trying to be clever wasn't going to work. Suffice to say, the bracket in the PSU are not the problem. If I were going with a standard air cooler, this would not be an issue at all. My issue is that I'm using an AIO at the bottom. Shout outs to Be Quiet. And this one will work because the pump hangs out really in the middle. So you don't have all the issues that people would throw at you for putting an AIO at the bottom. But that exactly ends up being what my problem is. Because the radiator is there, I have little to no clearance at the bottom for those cables to flex up and out of the way. And so I painstakingly just had to stop my build. And mind you, coming back to all of this, it took me hours to start assembling everything and putting it together well into the night. I think it was like maybe 3 a.m. when I realized this is not going to work. So where am I left now? Well, I'm having to go back to the drawing board, and I have an SFX PSU on the way. The only one that I can find that most people agree on is the best one is the Corsair SFX 750. It's annoyingly like near $170. So it is what it is. That's the price tag to pay for messing with these small form factors. So I'm just gonna have to chop it up and do it. Corsair, this one's for you. Hopefully I can reach out to you on X, Twitter. But I would love to just have this build and done with this PSU. So here's shout outs to you guys for making something so goated that, you know, we just can't get away from it. But in earnest, I just wanted to show this video because if you're out there and you're getting through a build and it's failed, or you're struggling, and when you hop online, all you see are like the perfect builds, right? Like in most cases, there is no perfect build. Like somebody always has to do something to accommodate because every system's different. Nothing to take away from those who have built hundreds, if not thousands of builds, right? There's muscle memory to this, right? Like practice builds up this repetition that makes you better each time. But yeah, man, this one's for you. Like I'm just sharing the epic fail that took place. Like I have all the parts assembled. It's gonna work. I could even have tried to make that one work, but like at the expense of like damaging like parts and cables and barely getting stuff to work. And I'm just gonna go back to the small form factor. Shout outs though, I will put a link in the description for that bracket though. Like if you have an ATX that you want to put in there and you have like an air cooler, this will work perfect. And that bracket actually is of amazing quality. So there's nothing to take away from that. I actually plan on using that in something else. I still have it, so I can make it work. But I will go back to the restraints of the NR200P. That way I can get my liquid cooler exactly the way that I want it, because I have a 12700K going in there that I do plan on messing around with an overclock. And so I need that to be in the case. So that's just an update that I had. Shout out to you all for your patience. But yeah, man, like I'm so close, right? Because we're gonna turn the corner here and start posting the content that we wanted to. But that's also the reason why you've seen a lot more of the content just based on card games, right? Like my system can handle the Yu-Gi-Oh and Marvel Snap with relative ease. Some of the other stuff, like even Call of Duty, like I take a hit a little bit on performance, things like that. But we'll be a lot more consistent moving forward. But that's the update. If you enjoyed this, at least the honesty of it, okay, go ahead and drop a like on this one and consider subscribing to the channel. The R stands for ready. All right. Till next time, be the meta, prove your meta. Peace.